percentages off the top of your head of when you commit 4 more turnovers than the other team and still win the game? It's got to be 0.00 or something percent.
It's the square root of pi. So take the square root of 3.1416. One good. You know, usually you don't win football games when you have 4 turnovers in the first half. You know, it was 7-6 at halftime and we had 1-point lead. But that's how well our defense played tonight. I thought our defense played outstanding. We knew what a passing attack they had and how dynamic they were, not only at quarterback but at receiver. And for our guys to be able to contain Shedeur like that, and no one really has, you know, that's a credit to him. But I also want to give credit to Shedeur. That kid is a tough kid because he got hit and he just kept balling. So it was a good battle. We're glad we were fortunate we came out on top. We need to clean up a lot offensively. I thought the drive at the end of the beginning of the second half was key, you know, to get us back into the game. Kind of get the momentum back on our side, but never going to apologize when you win a football game.
A lot of defensive standouts, but Latu 3 sacks, continues his All-American season. How impressed has he been?
Latu's special. You know, we knew that when we first got him, and how hard he works, and a credit to him for the rehab he had to do to come back from the injury that he had. And he seems like he just continues to get better and better. He's a great teammate, you know, and we're really fortunate to have him.
Coach, congrats on the win. You talked about the defense. They did a lot of pressure, really good red zone defense. What stood out to you as one of the biggest factors in their first half performance?
Well, I think what you said earlier, the pressure, you know, the ability to disrupt the timing of the plays. I thought our secondary was really close in coverage most of the day. And then combine that with the type of rush that we had on them is, you know, that was the formula that Dan and the defensive coaches drew up, and our players on the defense side really executed today.
And then you also mentioned the first half turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest difference in the second half? Was it just the lack of turnovers, or what did you see from Ethan and beyond?
It was just holidays. I had to remind our kids that this was Halloween, not Christmas, and we need to stop giving away gifts. And let's just make sure it's Halloween, so put your scary mask on and let's go play.
How consistent has Logan Loya been for you on special teams and at receiver too?
Yeah, I thought Logan came up big today and had some huge plays. I don't know his final numbers, but you know, he's been kind of a security blanket, I think, for all the quarterbacks. You know, they kind of know where he is. He's smart, he's intelligent. He does a great job of running routes. He understands coverage, and they did a really good job today of mixing up coverages and mixing up looks. And I thought Logan adjusted really well today.
Coach, obviously you guys had you got in the backfield, a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles for a loss, but there was also the pass defense. You know, what can you say about how they limited the passing attack?
Yeah, it's a combination. It's always what's going on in the back end, and then the pass rush that you can generate. You know, and I think because our guys did a really good job in coverage, they forced Shedeur to hold on to the ball a little bit more, and then that lets the rush get home. So it was a combination of both. There wasn't one more than the other. I think it was a combination of all 11 that really did it.
Carson's fumbles, obviously you never want to fumble, but he took some pretty vicious hits, good defensive plays. How do you kind of look at that? Obviously you don't want to fumble, but he was popped on both of those.
Mm-hmm.
How do you give him a little bit of a pass on that or not?
Yeah, football is football. I mean, you got to give, sometimes it's not always your fault, it's credit to the other side. And I thought, you know, their safeties especially were really physical and did a nice job, you know. And you look at the first turnover, he cross-gripped, he had 2 hands on the ball, and they still separated the ball from him. And, you know, fundamentally, he was doing what we teach him to do. But, you know, kind of tip your hat to them. That was a, you know, heck of a play on their part.
Just going back to the defense, I mean, going into every game now, we're more than halfway through the season. It seems fair and safe to say that this defense is an elite defense. You can't take anything for granted, there's no hypotheticals, but does it just put you in a good kind of mindset going into a game knowing you have this defense?
I think you just answered the question. That's a hell of a job. I mean, outstanding. You asked and answered the same question. So what you said, I would say, ditto.
Coach, TJ was able to step in and carry some of that load. What are some of your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, TJ's a really special player. You know, he was special last year as a true freshman for us. We feel like we have a couple kids back there, you know, and I think it's a great mix. And Coach Foster, Deshaun does an unbelievable job of rotating those guys. play call wise, we don't change anything, so we don't have to say, hey, he's in the game, so we can only do this. They all can run what we call, and to have multiple guys at that position is a big deal for us.
I was wondering what you thought of Collins' performance, especially coming back from the injury.
Yeah, it was fortunate that we got Colin back. I think he's a dynamic player. You know, we've got to, because of the injuries, you know, he was banged up earlier in the year, and missed part of camp, and then came back and started contributing for us. You know, we know what a jump start he gave us a little bit in the Oregon State game, and then got hurt, you know, and he was sat out. But, you know, when he got cleared to play again, we knew that there were certain things we could do with him, and we'll continue to expand that with him.
Coach, Colorado did some things in disguise coverages. What did you make out of this stretch that we're seeing with Ethan being your starter for these couple games? Just if you can look back for the last few.
Do you want me to talk about Colorado's disguises, or do you want me to?
I want you to kind of, because I'm kind of going back to that first drive of the game,
Yeah.
where they disguised the coverage and that kind of led to the interception. But as it felt like he settled in as the game went on.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan's a really resilient kid, and it's a great quality to have. You know, you can't dwell on what happened in the past. You got to learn from it. But I think we gotta go. I'm just following the rules. If the buzzer goes off.
No, I got one more for you.
Okay. No, but I think on that play, I think you gotta give Travis Hunter credit, because that was a tremendous play by him, and it wasn't a disguise. They didn't disguise coverage at all. That kid's a special football player and made a tremendous football play, and that's when you just kinda go, that kid's really good. You know, so maybe let's not throw near him.
And then just going back to last game to this game, is this a big enough sample size that you're kind of making some decisions at the quarterback position going forward?
Yeah, we analyze everything during the week, and we don't make anything rash, you know, after a game and say, hey, this is what tomorrow's gonna be like, or what Wednesday's gonna be like. And Ben's great at depth charts and questions about depth charts during the week, but we won't finalize anything until we get to the game day next week. So, and we play at like midnight, so we got a lot of time all day Saturday to figure out who our quarterback's gonna be.
Yeah, you gotta say, taking out the hypotheticals.
Yeah, exactly. We worked on that during the week. Little thing going.
In the nitpick department,
Yeah, sure.
another field goal that didn't go.
Yeah, it clunked, hit the upright. I gotta look at the film to see, you know, was it the play, was it the hold? I don't know. But that's obviously in critical games like that, you know, that's points that we need to get out of our drives in the red zone, and that's an area we need to address.
Coach, you had a large crowd today, and there was a whole lot of blue out there.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
It was awesome, and I think the combination of that, and I think if the people that were around yesterday or knew what happened when they put up Coach Donahue's statue. So, I think it was fitting, you know, and I think Terry was watching today, and Terry was the ultimate Gutty Low Bruin, and I think that's what our players did today. And Terry's got a big stamp on this one today. All right, I gotta go.